Hello, pinball party fans. Can I be honest? I guess that's a rhetorical question, a theme for this episode, and maybe an ongoing theme with this podcast since its beginning. Yeah, we'll talk about Wick, we'll talk about pinball. Oh, we're going to talk about pinball the whole time. But I gotta say, and I gotta ask again, can I be honest? And I don't know if I can to get what I want maybe out of this hobby. Yeah, it's been a few weeks for a reason, and a pinball reason. It's difficult, honestly. There's that word again. To say this, and I've been struggling with how to say it. I've gone through anger, jealousy, all the various forms of that disappointment does to you. And I'll just cut to it. I guess. Can I be honest? I'm just gonna do it. It's what makes people listen to this podcast. I think it's one of the main things. It's one of the most popular forms of feedback I get is thank you for being genuine, thank you for being honest, and to the people who see through the swear words as just like that's just how I talk, or other people, like, yeah, I'm not putting on a show. Well, I literally am putting on a show, but I'm just being genuine. That could be in the form of this game is great, this game sucks, that mech is great, that person in pinball sucks, or every form. It could be middling, but the thing with sincerity and honesty, even though you may not like the outcome of that, is that at least you know where the person or the entity stands. So what I'm getting at is there is going to be a lot of media coverage of Stern soon. Why do I know this? Because I got an influx of text messages and emails from people in the media last week saying, "Oh, did you get the invite?" From multiple angles. What invite? Well, Stern has decided to invite a bunch of podcasters and video content creators and everything in pinball media to their facilities, all expenses paid, to maybe make up for the John Wick launch of using some YouTubers that aren't in the pinball realm to promote games or really get a taste for it, which is the right move for sure, and it's awesome, and I'm glad Stern's doing it. Are they doing it late? I guess, but hey, they're listening, and that's awesome. But the thing that's hard for me to say, or what I took a break in the last couple of weeks of trying to digest, is no, I did not get the invite.
Get fucked.
Do I? It hurts. That's, I guess, it's hard. It's hard to say that. You want to act manly or whatever, or put on nah, it fucking doesn't bother me. It does. It bothers me that I didn't get an invite. I won't say the list of people who did go. You'll slowly find that out. But knowing that a lot of the content creators that are going, whether I've helped them or I have had maybe some of them on guests, maybe I've had better numbers, maybe this is a more popular podcast, maybe some of those creators have reached out asking to be on this show. A lot, if not all of them, are listening. And it sucks to not be included in that. I try really hard at this podcast, and I can only... so all those things being said, those who have listened to the last couple of years of this podcast, whether just having guests on, Stern employees, or doing the 12 Days of Balls, of having all these media creators on here, of really trying to lift this hobby up, creating incredible songs for other things, making the most of this Audible podcast when I can, doing lots of things. Anyway, it sucks. I'm trying to justify the feeling that it just sucks. It feels bad. But what it tells me is that knowing the list is that, Stern doesn't want I guess, my opinion going out there, whether it's from talking about their support being terrible with my experience 100% of the time, and others, still true. And even talking to Stern employees behind the scenes about me talking about that, no one disagrees. Knowing many Stern employees that I do, or making a meme about oops, all airballs, maybe, which is just fun games. Being honest about, I guess I'm just grasping at straws because the aforementioned reasons why I would think I would be included, the popularity of the show, the connections and all that, it doesn't make sense to me. And the only thing that makes sense to me is because I am not a shill, because I am not giving them a pass, because I am not saying that everything they do is God's gift to pinball. I guess they want to control, as they should, as a media company in the marketing, they want to control the message going out there. But I don't feel like I am one that just bashes Stern. In fact, I rarely do it. I guess I do it when the feeling arises or it's deservedly so, but it's not an attack. The thing with honest reviews, whether it's of a game or a company or the marketing or the ongoings of just the hobby, the thing that honest reviews does is helps you and myself as a hobbyist make informed decisions, lets us save money when we need to, makes us maybe make a move on a game before something bad happens. These things are very expensive for the hobbyist. And a lot of us who listen are hobbyists that buy and sell and trade and don't have a lot of location time. Some of us do, and it's nothing against that. Locations are great. But no, you're not going to come here and hear that, a bad game, it's still great in so many ways, and we're just lucky to have pinball. Then go listen to them. Go listen to how everything is great all the time. And then ask them to be honest. And they squirm a little bit. For those who listened to the 12 Days of Balls, the reason I asked everyone to say a curse word as one of the questions was just to let them be them. They're so used to just, I don't swear. I got to protect all this because I don't know. Just, you have one life to live. One. What are you doing? I mean, I guess, yeah. What are you doing? You got the invite. You got the go ahead from the companies. Good, you got it. I didn't, and it sucks. It feels like, again, I mean, if you want to shut the show off, I'm going to talk about pinball. Even though I am right now, but this is why I just, I wanted to quit. I wanted to post stuff. I wanted to just, it sucks. It sucks. I don't know what else to say. So Stern, all of you there at Stern, they're listening. Keep me in mind next time. I would love to help keep doing what I'm doing, which is add more entertainment to this hobby, boost your sales. If you don't think that this show has boosted some of your game's sales, you're wrong. So, yeah. There's when you do certain promotions and you tell people to say certain things if they're maybe going to buy a certain game, and then they do say, I heard it here, and you make sales based on this, or anyway, God damn it. It sucks. I don't know. I'm not blaming them. There's no one to blame but myself for the path I've chosen to do with this podcast, which is really to just use it as a form of honesty about pinball, and half of it almost therapy for myself. I'm sitting here talking to myself, looking at a computer about pinball. And, the number of listeners we get, both paid and non-paid, is extraordinary. And thank you to everyone for sticking with this and going through some of the breaks and even the last couple weeks. I'm going to try to get through this severe disappointment, this feeling of this lack of inclusivity that I feel. Not in the woke sense, but I just don't feel like I'm part of the band anymore, to be honest. Nope, but knowing how much effort does get put into here, knowing how many listeners we do have, knowing how popular it is. But I guess it's similar to the Canada thing, right? And honestly, last week's Saturday Spectacular, as he calls it. My favorite that he's done in the past ever. He did, and not just because he said the F word a lot, which he did, and kudos. That anger I was sharing at the same time, so I really, I empathized with it. And I think when I've expressed anger in the past, of course, we're all humans. We all get angry. And yeah, it's a show, but I'm not doing this as clearly, I'm not doing this for Stern or any companies. I'm not some media outlet that's getting paid to hello and welcome to the wonderful world of pinball. Here's this week's news, buy this, buy that. Aside from flipping out pinball, which there's a reason why I talk about flipping out pinball all the time. And yeah, they sponsor the show and Zach helps me out. And the reason that I am sponsored by one and only company is out of all the pinball content creators, the pinball personalities, the two people, I should say, honestly, that have actually reciprocated effort that you put in to build these relationships. Zach Meny of Flipping Out Pinball and Straight Down the Middle. Thank you. He knows, and I don't have to go into details, but it's a win-win for both of us. And Joel Engelberth from Triple Drain and all that. It's not that we put in work so that we get something from each other, but when it naturally happens, it's appreciated. So Joel and Zach, thank you for things that you've done in the past and the invites to be a part of these things. It's strange for those listening to know the amount of outreach we've done here with others, and those are the only two. Interesting, huh? But that is the lonely game of trying to make an inclusive, it's not the right word, to try to lift all ships as a tide, to try to do something together. A lot of this is just out for themselves. But anyways, back to Kaneda. He had a great Saturday morning spectacular. Love him or hate him, whatever you want. He's also honest. He might lean into a little bit of the hey, amp you up and do this, but great. That's his shtick. He's doing great. He might be an asshole, I guess, to some people. Great. He hasn't been to me, and I'm not going to, for what it's worth. But yeah, that was a great one talking about really there's something I want to talk about. Let's get into a little more pinball stuff and Wick, whatever. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, Wick, Gungate. What the fuck is wrong with a lot of you out there or anyone? So dumb. Oh, my God. That was another thing that just made me pause of what is happening with these people? Do I want to be associated with people that freak out about guns not being there when it's clearly just a licensing thing? Oh my God. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Jesus. But I think what Kaneda was getting a little more amped up about, which I was and am, and whatever, is the prices of games leading to the head of John Wick being fine from all intents and purposes, but the LE, they're asking 13 grand. But the market is not there. It is not there. It is stressful to sell a game right now. So to keep asking that money for people in the market of the hobbyist who's buying and playing games at home, holy God, this is not sustainable. Here is my very subjective, anecdotal, but literal evidence of the market is worse than even pre-COVID. And that doesn't mean that you can't play pinball and you can't do all these things, but I was not fooled by the COVID market of you can buy a game and make money and all that kind of stuff. This is a little blip in the radar. But usually you would buy a game, play it for a while, and lose, 10%? No, not 10%. Maybe 8. Basically, on a pro, you'd for sure lose $500 on a premium, maybe $1,000, give or take, but whatever. Have you heard of Jaws, the biggest game that's newest by arguably the best pinball designer out there, Keith Elwin, Mr. Elwin Keithan? I have not had a harder time selling a game in 6 months than Jaws Premium under 50 plays, bought brand new by Flippin' Out Pinball. How much did I sell it for? How much did you think I sold it for? All right, well, it's what, $9,500 new, maybe free shipping if right? MSRP, right? 80, 900? Wow, that'd be low. Oh, yeah, no. 8,800? No. 8,700? No. 86? No. I had to basically beg to sell it for $8,500. Basically a brand new game, $1,000 less a week later because that's how I roll. Jesus. That is, it is a house of cards. It is a bunch of dominoes. This market and everything right now is bad. It's nothing safe, so it feels bad. It's stressful. Stern, everyone, sorry, not just Stern, JGP. These prices are what makes this stressful, or why Canada was angry, or why people are angry of like, we're losing value on these things. We're not trying to make money, so please don't send in the email that these aren't investments. I know they're not investments. The amount of times that happens in the arguments in email or Pinside of, Jason, these aren't investments. Don't think of them. No shit, bro. I make enough money to buy pinball machines. I probably know that they're not investments. So please stop. But losing that much money that fast, and it keeps getting harder and harder to sell the most popular games out there while prices are way too high and dealerships are just sitting on inventory and they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're still making games and they're bringing games back out and they're vaulting them. What do you think is going to inevitably happen? Some things have to change. Something has to budge. We got to either make more sales or people got to start going out of business. But if you look on Pinside or if you talk to people, everyone is just kind of sitting and selling. And having Jaws out there in forums listed at 8,600, basically brand new, people are just like, if I only had room. And then you ask people, hey, why aren't you buying? Why aren't you selling? Well, I'm afraid to buy anything because of how much money I'm going to lose immediately. Okay, so dealers are sitting on inventory. They're getting bigger. They're making more games, and people are afraid to buy because the price is going to go down, keep going down. Yeah, so I don't have any games right now. I sold Jaws. I'm like, I'm just out for a bit. I need to just like, if paint this picture of myself in this hobby. All right, well, I'm doing a podcast. It's really popular. It has a lot of notoriety, you name it, but I don't get invited to these things because of, again, I'm not crying about it. It just sucks. But you know, for XYZ, well, that sucks. Okay, so I guess I'm not part of that club. And that, you know, we're social creatures. We're humans. Whether you say it or not, and I like being alone a lot, I still like, you know, people. And don't get me wrong, I make friends easy, and I have friends, but you know, it's this like other, it's grimy. So the side of it that I do a lot, the media side, the podcast, doing the deep dives, and sorry to the Patreons, we'll get back to it. I appreciate your patience. Doing 2 podcasts a week, one the Patreon, one this, that's part of the hobby. All right, well, that's not really paying off because either people will, there's not a huge hobby, so you can't really do tons of Patreon with it, and or people just tell you how to do your job, or they tell you not to think of it that way. And I get they're probably just, you know, engaging with the show, but or that you have a bad attitude, or the industry says, get bent. We don't want you part of this. So that sucks. But the actual reason of doing all this, playing the pinball, the location I go to or did go to is tainted now I won't even go into certain reasons, but I'm somewhat actually afraid to go there. And it's strange to say that. And the home market is going down so fast, like, I don't know if I can play these games at home. Hence the break. So what the fuck am I doing if I'm doing a podcast, it's not paying off, except for a couple relationships, you know, and the games I can't play it, and John Wick coming out looks cool, but it's not like, I'm not wowed by it. And it's been out, I guess, for almost a week now, and we've had enough podcasts. I won't go into the gun gate other than like, that's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed to even be a part of any of that. All of it. I'll just say all of it. Yes, I'm aware of all of it. And oh my God, all of it. My God. Jesus. Yeah. John Wick comes out. The Pro looks better than the Premium. There's my TLDR. Don't buy the Premium, because if you can't get even close to only 500 less than what you buy for a Jaws, John Wick's not going to do it. But the Pro seems pretty awesome. Seems like a fast, fun game, slightly in the difficult side, which is exactly what I like. It's my style. It's got Keanu Reeves on it. It looks good. I've watched some videos, but I've also been kind of checked out for a couple weeks, so I haven't watched a ton. It's weird. There's a lot of, I don't know. It's like that divided, either everyone says everything sucks, or everyone's like, oh, we should just be thankful we have pinball. And I don't know. I'm not on either of those sides. I guess I wax and wane all the time about it. And yeah, nothing's pulling me back right now. A nice Lord of the Rings would. Again, still looking for that Lord of the Rings. Oh, man. Remember when we used to do Figure It Out? Oh, man. I could go into that with some Lord of the Rings, but I just don't want to right now because it would really bring the vibe down of this super positive episode of all these amazing things. Yeah. Some nonsense emails I've gotten about Lord of the Rings. I want to kind of wait a little bit on the John Wick thing to skip the media explosion and then the gun gate, and then it's just kind of like, it's out there. Let's let it simmer a little more, because last time I played Jaws and I said, oh, it's fucking terrible. And then I got it. I was like, oh, actually, it's pretty great. And guess what? My final results of Jaws, I mean, I sold it. I got rid of it. It's fine. Yeah. It's not incredible. I thought it could maybe beat Jurassic Park. Nah. I think it's still it's like tied for second and third place for favorite Elwins. Yeah. Iron Maiden and Jaws. It got old fast. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's like every game. Once in the beginning when you don't know everything, it's super exciting, and then you get to know it, and you're like, oh, okay, it's just that. Most games are kind of like that to a certain extent. So aside from John Wick, there was the Funhouse announcement, which we all saw coming. Funhouse. Are people going to be buying Funhouse, really? A lot? It's like... It's true. There's never been a better time to play pinball, and with Barrels of Fun, Pedretti, Pinball Brothers, Dutch, Haggis. There's another positive. There's a feather in the cap of pinball, right? What's going on there? My God, I don't. Some nasty stuff. But Funhouse is like, it doesn't seem like the right call. I know it's not the same, but, Monster Bash in the vein of all those remakes, Medieval Madness, this is not that caliber, in my opinion. Please email in and tell me I'm wrong, but I did play plenty of this era a lot, and Rudy was always kind of like, okay, shut up. Okay, you're fine. But with Joel having Gomez on recently, look at this. We're bouncing all over the place. Stay with me, because I'm just kind of puking here. I have no agenda this time. Because Funhouse, that's how much I care. Moving on. Some really good little nuggets that came out of the Gomez interview, but a lot of defense and a terrible microphone. Again, Stern, if you want to invite me, I'll fix all your shit. I'll tell you how to use microphones if you'd like. But no, truly, if the message isn't clear, I would like to be more a part of this industry. I'll just say that. Does that make it clear? Maybe the enthusiasm of doing all this and trying. So for all those out there, yes, if you have any thoughts or ideas, or if you'd like, please reach out, pinballpartypodcast@gmail.com. Otherwise, just leave me alone. Gomez touched on the vaults, and the Lord of the Rings probably not happening, and probably not. And Tron, yeah, we like it, and will Spike 3 be able to do it? Knapp said this as well, but things I've heard, Tron Vault is pretty likely, by the way. So yes, list your Tron LEs for like $20,000 sooner rather than later. Sell them, and yeah, because you're not gonna sell those. And that Jack Danger's in the chute. And I think what he meant by in the chute is up next. Yeah. I was led to believe that Metallica is late summer-ish, Spike 3. I don't think that that's a Jack thing. I think that's a Borg thing. But hey, again, maybe I'm losing my touch. Maybe that's not what's happening. But if history is any indication, usually the touch is somewhat accurate. Is that weird? Is that perverted? Accurate touch? But you could also see in that interview of them like, yeah, we want to really do this and bring some of the content creators back here and get a glimpse of the games. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that'd be awesome. Well, no. Yeah, back to that again. But that I really encourage anyone out there to go check out the George Gomez interview with Joel on, I think it's on the Flippin' Out YouTube. Yes, it is. It's a great interview. And yeah, I'm happy to be very professional and ask some of the real questions if you'd like. But yeah, I think there's a few questions that people want to know of how can we expect to mitigate the losing cost of being a home buyer in this market as it goes down? Do you have any thoughts, any ideas, any suggestions? Is the market, are you more concentrated on location or home? From your market, it seems to be a mix of both, but Insider Connected and some of the home stuff means that the home market is not sustainable if we keep losing severe amounts of money to do it, and locations are not necessarily growing, or we don't know because the market doesn't really communicate that to us. Yes, hearing things like Lit or Electric Bat or all these great positive stories, yeah, but there's equal amounts of ones that do not do well at all. I would just like some clarity. Again, these are $6,000 to $10,000 machines. They are life-changing chunks of money. Should someone need a surgery or a car or you lose your job, and they are maybe it's just me. I don't know. Kudos to all those out there who just don't plan as well, maybe, or just have so much money it doesn't matter. But I do very well for myself. But even then, maybe it's just beat in from a young age to be very fiscally responsible. And because I go through games fast, just my personality. Let's say exactly what happened with Jaws. Let's say I paid MSRP for Jaws Premium. $9,500 free shipping. And within 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, I saw everything I wanted to with the game, and I sold it for $1,000. $1,000 for 3 weeks of, let's say, 5 minutes every other day, and then in 1 or 2 days, like 2 hours at a time. That's just not worth it for me. I can't do it, and I want to. God damn it! I love this hobby so much. Enough to do a podcast, enough to go through all this shit, buying and selling, lifting these games, hurting your fucking back, driving 8-hour, 10-hour, 11-hour, 12-hour round trips, texting about it with friends all the time. I don't know. I want to love it so much, but there's just so many things stacked against it right now. And, honestly, yeah, again, here we go. Back to the Stern invite. I would be on cloud 9, so fucking pumped to come back and just talk about it and feel like part of it, putting in all this time, all this effort, doing, like, feeling like a little accomplishment. If it's not clear from long-time listeners, like I need to accomplish things to be motivated by it. It's the same like in a game. I don't get motivated if my scores keep going down over time and I get worse at a pinball machine. I'm not like, I can't wait to play it again. I'm like, okay. Same thing with this podcast. In the beginning, I just wanted to, I don't know, have a little fun, see what I could do, make a pinball podcast, but also put in crazy sound effects and do my audio stuff and all that, and realize how much time it was. And it was awesome. Like the numbers were growing fast. Went on the Pinball Network pretty fast. Got on, did a lot of shit. It's progress. Every couple of weeks, Zach would be like, oh, your numbers are going up. And then it got to a point where I was like, I I'm going to leave the Pinball Network, not because I don't need you anymore. It was awesome. And, but I wanted to control my own schedule and release things, and I had my own kind of branding stuff. It was all amicable. Again, I left the Pinball Network on my own accord, so I could say anything I wanted to and not harm their brand, let's say. And that wasn't the only reason, but it was part of it. So that was another accomplishment. Leaving the pinball party, great. Getting to know Kale and Rachel and doing all that with them, great. Another positive. And then, things just kept kind of leveling out because it kind of came this crossroad of like, oh, all right, either you sell out and do all these. I've been reached out by all the manufacturers for certain reasons here or there, but either I just be like an advertising arm for everyone. Everything's great. Go get these mods. Go get everything's great. Oh, Galactic Tank Force, great game. A couple things would be better, but yeah, go buy it. Come on. It was either go down that path, and I can't do that stuff. I can't, whether it's work, whether it's my relationships, whether it's friends, I can't be disingenuous. I can't do it. I mean, I can in a if I have to, but I'm just not wired that way. To enjoy anything long term, I gotta be me. It's just I gotta be me. I have to. So it's like, well, that's why when you started hearing the fuck song, it was really just another reason to like, all right, I gotta double down on this. Not like I'm the first one to swear. I just like I gotta shed my skin and really just make it clear that like I'm doing this for me. This is fun. This is art. I'm not a advertising arm. I'm not a media mogul for any of y'all. I'm not gonna lie to people. I'm just gonna be me. But then as that doesn't there was a sharp turn in numbers for sure. But as they say, or pro tip for anyone wondering about podcasts or growing an audience, when you get the dedicated ones that want it for what you're doing, those numbers don't change, and they'll be with you through thick and thin. And so that had settled down. And do you think I took a listener hit from leaving the Pinball Network? Of course I did. I'm not going to tell you numbers because that's, they have their own proprietary thing going on there. It wasn't as significant as you think, but it was definitely like, holy shit. And then you got to build it back up. And then starting to do the deep dives, numbers growing, and that's all great. But I don't know. I need that progress, and really just a 180 turn of like, shit. Yeah. So, again, getting blasted from all angles. Hey, did you get the invite? When you going? No, it just deflated me. Full stop. I have no pinball machines. I'm not checking Pinside that much. I'm just second guessing. Is it worth it? Is this is this grind worth it? It's a small market. You can't like succeed much. There's so many opinionated people. Yeah. So it's in flux. I hope to keep doing it. I hope to find reasons to keep doing it. But I really just wanted to hit record, get a few things off my chest, talk about Wick briefly, which is like, let's wait a little bit. And I'd be excited to have a Lord of the Rings and polish it and say, you're my pretty little girl. Put incandescent bulbs in it if they bastardized it with LEDs. But it's got to be the right playfield. Let me know if you find one. But stay tuned for more Pinball Party, probably. And hopefully I can get over this shot to the gut, this gut punch. And no promises, really. I would like to, but I truly love the hobby. Do I like doing this? Is this worth it? I don't know. Can I be honest? We'll see if I can and keep doing this. It's been a while. How about I share a new song? I recorded this a couple weeks ago. I like it. Hope you do. It's called Demon Dance. It's a work in progress. Forgive me that there's a couple spots where it's like, not great. But other couple spots where it's like, fuck yeah, that's great. Till next time. See you later. I wanna break from this dreamer in this moment, you and I. Call it anguish, call it pain, justified. I wanna way out, I wanna dance with the demon in this moment, you and I. You and I. Well, no one's looking. Let's have a dance to the death. I wanna feel now that I'm alive. Just gotta break dance this dreamer for this moment. I'm alive. Fallen angels, fallen dames with the time. I wanna feel now that I'm alive. I wanna dance with the demon in this moment, you and I. You and I. La da da da, la da da na na na, la da da da, la da da. Only the rest for the wicked. Only the rest for the calm. Only the rest for the wicked. All I ever wanted was a friend. Hold me closer, my dancer, while I take the lead with my boots. Oh, I know what's best for us, demon, in this moment, you and I.